Hey, what's up guys, TechTitan here and I'm back again with a brand new video. So before I begin, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you like my videos, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. If you're not new and you haven't subscribed, consider doing so. A lot of great videos are coming really soon. So with that being said, I have been using the Galaxy A55 5G consistently for 2 days. And this has definitely been the best mid-range Samsung device that I've used that's not part of the S lineup. So basically it has an upgraded design, upgraded materials, a larger screen, a just better quality device overall. So beginning with the design, this phone is made out of glass and metal back and front. So that's a thumbs up from the previous plastic and glass that was found in previous A54 generation. On the sides you see this brushed aluminum finish that not only gives it a kind of a premium look, it also adds a really solid grip. So this phone is not slippery at all in my opinion. On the bottom of the phone you'll find a couple of ports, well actually only one port. So you'll have the USB-C port that does support up to 25 watt of wire charging. No wireless charging found here, but that's okay. Your bottom facing speaker as well as a couple of microphones. On the right hand side you do have your power button / volume up and down, and there are definitely some solid buttons made out of metal, very clicky, very tactile. And if you notice that, you'll see that where the buttons are, it's a matte finish instead of this brushed aluminum, which in my opinion makes this phone a little bit different, just gives it a nice look. And like I said, it does have a very solid grip, and it's I guess a way for you to determine where the power button and the volume up and down are on the phone. So very different from Samsung, so thumbs up for them for doing that, and I can guarantee you that the S devices will follow a similar design point in the future. Come back to this video. The power button does not sit flush like the Galaxy A15 or the A25, which makes this design choice much better. Flipping the script, and let's talk a little bit about the display here. So this time around Samsung gave us a larger display than the previous generation, which had a 6.4 inch. This time we get a 6.6 inch 1080p AMOLED display that has a peak brightness of 1000 nits, so a very bright display outdoors. And not only that, this is definitely one of Samsung's best panels in this category. So the A55 supports an OLED display, HDR10 plus, like I said, 1000 nits and peak brightness. So outdoor viewing was fantastic, and it does use Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, so should in theory be durable. Okay, so real quick, I want to spend a quick minute to talk about the in-display fingerprint sensor. First of all, the setup is quick and simple, and it took me less than 30 seconds to set it up. So very quick, all you have to do is just move your finger around and the in-display fingerprint sensor will tell you how to place it properly. Basically, what I can tell you is that this is accurate. However, it's not as fast as a physical fingerprint sensor that you'll see in other devices. So keep that in mind. It still works really well. All in all though, to summarize the display, this is one of the phones that you will definitely enjoy watching videos on, consuming your content, browsing social media. Everything on the experience side of things is just fantastic. I couldn't ask for anything more. Okay, if I'm a little greedy, I would ask for like a 2K panel, but the 1080p is plenty enough for me. Now, the speaker quality on the other hand is also really good. So it does use the bottom facing speaker as well as the top little subwoofer to give you kind of a stereo effect, and it's loud. And it's definitely a really good speaker. So here, go ahead, take a listen for yourself. The phone to give you guys kind of a full review, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So with that being said, the first thing that I want to talk about is the design itself. So Motorola took a kind of improved design approach this time around. So last year it was this plastic that, felt really slippery. This time around they used this kind of fake leather material that provides a really nice grip to the phone, and it really reminds me of the Moto Razr that I did a review on a couple of months ago. With that being said, also, so all in all, a very solid speaker system. Now let's talk about the topic that I'm excited for, which is the camera setup. And just a heads up, a full camera review is currently in the works, so make sure you subscribe for that. But basically you get a triple camera setup with a 50 megapixel main sensor at f1.8 that does have optical image stabilization, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, as well as a 5 megapixel macro sensor with a selfie camera of up to 32 megapixels of resolution. So by default you are going to be taking 12 megapixel shots. If you want to take advantage of the 50 megapixels, you can definitely change that in the settings. But basically this phone, the UI of it of course does what you would expect. It takes pictures really quickly, so there is no stuttering between switching from the macro to the main sensor to even the wide angle. It's all very seamless and very smooth, so thumbs up for Samsung. And also taking pictures is quick, switching to video is quick, and this phone is capable of shooting video in a couple of modes. You do have super slow motion, you have standard slow motion, but the main video that I'm excited for is that you can shoot for 4K at 30 frames per second, or even if you want full HD at 30 or 60 frames per second. And it does also have a mode that's called steady shot, so you can use that to kind of help stabilize your images a little bit more. However, I don't recommend it. The quality on it is a little bit of a letdown. But basically, so far the image quality 2 days later have been nothing short of fantastic. The colors on here are really good. It's well exposed. The focus, the bokeh effect is fantastic. Just taking pictures was just so much fun in the past 2 days. Even the selfie camera has a fair amount of detail. So overall, this is definitely so far gonna be a really solid camera experience. Samsung did not take a lot of shortcuts when it comes to the camera. I know it's not going to be perfect, and that's for my full camera review where I'll discuss a couple of things. The only unfortunate part is, which I will discuss at the end of the video a little bit more, is that you're not going to be able to access this in the United States if you want it to work fully or be fully supported with a carrier. But that will be discussed later on in a video, and I will be making a different video when talking about this. Okay, so now I want to discuss the performance a little bit 2 days later. Now, obviously 2 days is not a lot of time to give me kind of a final conclusion on the performance, but the spec sheet is as follows. So you do get an octa-core, the Exynos 1480 based on a 4nm architecture, and the GPU is called the X-Eclipse 530. So I've never really heard of it, but so far it seems like it's working fine. 128GB of standard storage, 8GB of RAM, and you can opt in for the 256GB option with 12GB of RAM, which I think is a little bit of overkill, but the 8GB of RAM just makes you kind of multitask like a boss. It works fantastic. For a phone that only costs $470, the daily tasks on this phone, like the phone app, messaging app, just normal here and there, just using your phone casually, it works fantastic. And even when looking at the benchmark scores, it shows that this phone is a definite improvement from the previous generation. And so you get a 1162 in single core and 3493 in multi-core. Basically what I want to say is the benchmark gives me an idea of how much faster, what the numbers are between the A51 and the A55. And so my conclusion as far as the benchmarks go is that this phone is about 35% faster than the previous generation. Let's put the statistics aside, let's put the numbers aside and talk about real world performance. So when it comes to browsing the web, doing the casual tasks, this phone performs like a champ. The 8GB of RAM makes multitasking a breeze. You know, whenever you want to browse the web or just do a quick search, read an article, things of that nature, it works fantastic. No glitches, or I should say minimal glitches to a point where they're barely noticeable, and it's quick. Obviously, also one of the things that I wanted to look out for is gaming, and does it heat up when I game. I played a couple of games, nothing too drastic or nothing too graphic heavy. I'm saving that kind of for the full review, but basically the games that I played on this phone showed me that this phone is fantastic for that. Quick, doesn't really drop frames all that often, and also the 120 Hz do come in effect with games that do support it. So overall experience in the performance is fantastic. The battery life is really good. The chipset that they use, the Exynos, the Exynos processor that they have on here is very efficient, so it seems, so it works pretty well. Combine that with a 5000 mAh battery, the battery life has been fantastic. I have no issues when it comes to performance so far. Obviously, within time, maybe my opinion on that will change, but as of right now, I'm happy with the performance. So, let me kind of draw a conclusion for you. My conclusion is this. This is definitely a fantastic phone all the way around. It's a phone that costs around 430 plus tax. In some scenarios, you will be paying 500, but I paid 430 plus tax for my unit. It's definitely a almost perfect mid-range device. The only disappointing downside is that if you live in the United States, this phone technically is not officially released in the US, and it will not be released in the US. Maybe that will change in the future, but as of right now, that's what we got. That's the word on the street. It's disappointing because I really feel like this is the next level for mid-range devices. I wish it was released in the US. That's where I live. If you're outside the US, enjoy this phone. It's a fantastic option to pick up. And yeah, with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you do enjoy the video, leave a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.